Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta.
All my beers are calm now.
Man, I'm seeing a trend, David. You have a Tropicalia every week.
Yeah, I like to start off with a quality beer. I mean, I'm pre-gaming with vodka, and I don't want to go straight to the crap beer. So I have to have like an in-between beer. So yeah, the Tropicalia kind of is my in-between beer.
I thought you're mostly these days drinking a single beer and then moving straight back to liquor.
I have kind of slowed down on my drinking. Like, Ryan, remember those first few weeks, months of doing the podcast? We would come over here and we would put down an easy 6-pack each. Easy.
Shush. Don't tell anybody about that.
And I did not drive either.
And then you would drive home. No, but yeah, now I guess the conversation is either so good or so boring that I don't drink as much, but I do still have the vodka.
So I go back.
Say you don't drink as much beer, but you still have like liquor.
I think I did 4. I drink more whenever Ben is on, and I had a good 4 or 5 last week with Dave on because they talk so much. I get bored, and all I got left. Not bored, but I got nothing better to do than drink. So
bored of Dave. You heard it here first.
I actually go backwards. I go with the Sprite Zero and vodka. Then afterwards, I usually get a beer.
Yeah,
it's like ride the wave. Like you get up on your board with the vodka, and then you ride it.
Yeah, it's just a taste thing. I don't want to go straight from my delicious, refreshing Sprite Zero and 3 Olives vodka, not sponsored, to my piss beer. So I have to have a nice little Georgia beer.
So not to be confused, Sprite Zero is in fact a sponsor.
Exactly. Just like 3 Olives
Wait,
vodka.
what's the piss beer you got there?
Oh, Yingling Lights.
Miller Lite got the boot.
Miller Lite did get the boot.
Yingling Light is nasty.
What happened?
It's the same amount of calories and everything, but it's got a little more flavor to it. So why not go for the
bad flavor?
Yingling Lights. So
I guess Miller Lite's going to drop us as a sponsor now.
If they want to sponsor us, I'll jump back on that Miller Lite bandwagon big time.
I will jump onto it, but really, we should get PBR on board.
Ryan, you make it happen, dude. I will. Yeah. I'll down some 40s of PBR during every episode if you can get them to give us money.
That sounds delicious.
All right, guys. We did not talk about Georgia State stuff really last week because we had Dave on, which was awesome. We just talked about him and his life, which was great. So we got some. Actually got some stuff to talk about this week.
I mean, he defines Georgia State stuff, though. So, when we talk to him at all, no matter what he talks about, it's Georgia State stuff.
Without Dave, is there a Georgia State?
I mean, really? Like, we could ask that question.
Well, we can ask any question we want to, for sure.
I mean, we can ask that and not be laughed out of the room.
Yeah, no, for sure. 40 years of covering the sport, obviously an iconic voice. I mean, he's our Larry Munson. Easy to say that without feeling like you're dishonoring anybody in that statement. Nope. He's the greatest. He's the GOAT. So, which being a Boston fan, he'd probably like hearing that crap. But anyhow,
at least he's not a Mets fan.
Thank God, right? Ooh, I don't know if I could take that. All right. So what we did not talk about last week was the end of the athletic year with baseball finishing up in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. End of the season with a win against the Trash Down South, and that's all that happened. Nothing else happened after that. We just beat Trash Down South, and we were done. We actually lost to Coastal and Texas State, but we those guys
those are top teams, though. I mean,
yeah, I think Coastal was the number 1 seed, and we lose by 1 run, and then Texas State was number 4, number 5, I forget exactly. And we took them to 12 innings. Like, we gave up 4 runs in the very first inning, tied it up in the 7th with 3 by scoring 3 runs. Excuse me. And then we would not go quietly into the night. 12 innings before they finally exhausted our pitching staff. So, claps to Coach Stromdahl and all the guys. Great season there. I'm very excited about what he's going to do with this program, especially if Ryan was not muted when he said
not
that.
Muted.
I still want to call him Stromdog.
Sorry, she's like blasting some musical and just it's terrible.
Oh, yeah, because it's a musical. No, yeah, excited to see what he can put together with this program, especially if we can ever figure out a way to
raise $50 million.
Announce a new baseball facility over there. The Hank. Any final thoughts on baseball from you guys?
No, it's an impressive season. Obviously, the Bus Lot boys were absolute bombers with home runs. I mean, I hope they can continue it next year. I hope Strom Dog can get some better pitching next year. Just maybe one more pitcher, two. I don't know.
Didn't they get somebody, or am I confusing them with the Braves? I'm confusing them with the Braves. Sorry, they're equally good. So,
So I mean, overachieved, and I hope he keeps it up, and I hope we overachieve next year. Hopefully the strong season will get some players to look at us as a potential home in the Sun Belt.
Well, apparently Panthersville is a batter's field.
Yeah.
So I assume that probably makes it hard to get pitchers to want to commit and come to Georgia State, because they're like, hey, why do I want to go to a place where it's really easy to people hit home runs off of me and everything. So I like it. I think it makes the sport better, but
sure,
I get the problem. Ryan, give us your deep intellectual take on
college
baseball.
Technical difficulties. We have switched over to live only being for Patreon members, but we did not post a link. So what I was doing, instead of paying attention to you guys talk about baseball, was finding the link and posting it in our patron group.
Oh,
well, so that they could watch us.
Well, the link was emailed to all Patreon members.
Oh, so. I didn't know that. I did not know
nice.
that. I dropped it in the
good one.
Yeah, you win, but we're just figuring this out. I will say I do have like baseball. It feels like they're young and they've got really good base going, and that they're really good at the basics, which, like, let's just hit the ball as hard as possible and run the bases, right? I mean, that's like the basics. And now we can like build from that. And I feel like in the coming years, we're going to see building from that and see this team mature. And I think that'll be a good thing.
Yeah, there was, talk about the basics though. There was, I think it was playing against Coastal. They got that little rundown situation, runner going from second to third, and we totally just flubbed the whole thing. And playing the number one team in the conference, it being Coastal on top of that, I was just like, I'm watching the game and I'm like, I gotta turn this off for now. I had to wait to take a minute and come back. I hate seeing flubbing those types of things, especially against,
elite talent in the SBC.
Your hated rival.
I do hate them.
They're good though. Just admit it. They're a good baseball team. Coastal.
Their baseball team is better than the colors of their program. I'll say that.
We'll work with that. We'll take that.
That's a low bar.
It's a very low bar.
What are they? Exactly. Teal and white? Because white's fine, obviously.
Black, isn't it? Black, teal, and black.
Oh, well, black is fine.
Some gold in there, isn't there?
No, there's only two colors.
That little floof, that little Chanticleer has on top of its head, and it's got some
What's
gold.
That called? That's called like a gizzard.
Isn't the gizzard the bottom part?
All of that was gizzard. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's a made up animal anyway, right?
I don't know a lot of things about cocks. So
a chicken?
It's like this Chanticleer, a made up animal.
It's a chicken.
Pretty sure it's a fighting chicken.
Yeah, it's there because they were the little brother to South Carolina, so they chose the little brother, the weird Frenchy name for a gamecock.
They wanted to double the cock,
which is also a fighting chicken, which is frowned upon in the West. I mean, like we look at this and we're like, man, this is terrible. I mean, I've never seen a chicken fight, so I have no idea. But I don't know why we're naming teams after chickens and chicken fights.
Well, we're not naming them now. They've been named a long time ago, back when it was perfectly acceptable to have cockfights in the streets. So I didn't say anything wrong. I said nothing wrong.
I know, but it was funny. It just like it struck me in a funny way,
back alley cockfights.
Yeah,
So I thought that I looked this up. Their Chanticleer is derived from some Canterbury tales, the Nun's Priest tale. There you go.
Okay. I'm not very well read, so
super fancy.
Yeah.
What do you think? This is like France or something? What do you think? They're like Louisiana?
So I want to know how they ended up with that god awful color. if they're trying to be all historical. And
Oh, here we go. Here we
I
go.
don't- Uh-oh.
The thing on the top is called a comb or a cockcomb.
this is too much. This is too much cock for this
Thanks, Denver.
program.
This is too much time for it not being last call. Oh no, there was a correction there. It's a coxcomb.
Oh, coxcomb.
Gotta have the ownership there. Oh geez. All right. Baseball said and done. Look forward to next season. I'll say it like I do every season. I'm gonna make sure to go to games next season, and then I'm probably not gonna go.
We promise to make it next year.
Exactly. I am full of broken promises. Just ask my children. All right. Other big news going on right now. Golf. Men's golf.
What's going on in golf?
What's
Men's-
the big news that's golf related?
Georgia State golf news.
PGA Tour merging with Live Golf or whatever. That's the big news with Georgia State in it.
I don't think you're allowed to say Live Golf. You got to say Saudi Arabian owned Live Golf, because every article I've ever read is Saudi Arabian owned, because I don't know. They think that it's like the most recent Super Bowl's golf league or something. No, JJ Gray, former Georgia State men's golf player, has made the U.S. Open. First time a Georgia State player or Georgia State alum has ever made the U.S. Open. So golf clap to him.
Congrats to him.
Well, that
Yeah,
is
golf
pretty sweet.
claps.
Yeah, golf clap.
Golf clap. Yep. So yeah, it's pretty cool. He's from England. We talked about this before. A lot of our like Olympic sports grab guys and gals from across the pond and everything. So
The women's soccer guy was talking about that at the coaches show about
Right,
how he's
yeah.
he's mostly recruiting international students at this point.
they've never heard about how bad Georgia State is. I can get anybody over here
take it.
now. You want to come to America? Have you heard of Atlanta? Come on over. Everyone loves us over here. You're not wearing teal. It's easy.
It's a nice blue.
No, there was some sad about it though. Apparently, his best friend, a former Georgia State golf player, Sam Asbury, passed away. I don't know how, whatever. And he was asked about him, and I guess after he qualified for the U.S. Open, teared up and everything. He says he writes his buddy Sam's initials on all of his golf balls when he plays a match and everything to honor
A lot of golf
his
balls.
best bud. Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's a lot of golf balls. I'm assuming a professional golfer probably has like one. Like he just goes and he plays with
Ever?
one golf ball.
Just
Yeah,
one.
you have the backup in the bag, but depending on if it's a heavy water hazard course, you probably just play with one golf ball the entire time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You may have a 3-pack in there.
I'm not interested in golf very much, but my dad every Christmas is like, "Oh, I'll take some golf balls," and I look at, and every year I am like surprised by how expensive they are, and I'm like, "You must lose so many of these, and they're so expensive."
Well, when I golf, which is very, very rarely, I always just get a bucket of the driving range balls
Yeah,
and
Use
just dump
those?
them. I dump those into my golf bag, and then I return the
then you
the
leave.
bag. Yeah, exactly.
It's cheap. It's cheaper. It's actually cheaper than buying a box of balls.
Supposedly that's frowned upon, but they also frown upon you, like not wearing polos and.
And what are
khaki
they
pants
gonna
and-
do? Yell at you? Tell you you're
Kick
not
me out.
invited
Kick you
back?
out.
They're gonna kick me out of a place I don't want to be at. Oh
That's
no,
right.
please
You left
don't.
anyway. You're
Tell
like, I'm
you-
leaving. Don't
tell
worry.
Tell you you're only allowed in the clubhouse at the bar.
That's like telling me I'm not allowed at a game that Trash Down South is at, or I'm not allowed in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh no,
You're no longer
I'm so
allowed
sorry.
in Statesboro, David. Okay. All right.
Life ruined. Life
It's like
ruined.
the SNL Chad skits. Have you seen the Chad skits? It's just like, oh, okay.
No,
All right. Well, look it up. You'll understand. It's funny.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
can't relate. Can't
skits.
relate. Well, while we're talking about football,
Big news.
well, over the past couple of weeks, because we only talked about stuff last week, kickoff times. Me scheduling. I love that kind of stuff. We
Ooh.
got 5. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 night games times announced.
All the nights.
The first 4 games in a row. The first 4 games of the season, all night games. I mean, granted, only 2 of them are at home, but
Okay.
still.
We got a lot of drinking to do. Huh?
Yeah. No, I'll take them at home. But
Well, so-
how many of those at home are weekday nights?
The first one, we knew
First
that. The
one.
Rhode Island game, a Thursday game. We know that. We knew that
Well,
was a night game.
Hey,
So
be
the
happy.
important thing here that I'm getting at is we have a Saturday night game on the schedule.
Yes.
Against a future P5 opponent in
Holy shit.
UConn. Yeah.
Holy shit. It's not a 2:00 game.
I'm just
it-
happy the Thursday game is not during the day. Remember they did that to us one year? It was like a
Yeah.
Thursday or Friday. I'm like 2 o'clock
blocked
or 1
that out.
o'clock, noon.
It was Friday week 1, and
Yeah.
it was. I thought I remembered it being 1 as well, or noon or 1. I remember it being that. I went back and looked at it. It was a 3 or 3:30 kick, which is still completely unacceptable. It was the only Friday day game that entire season, other than the Friday after Thanksgiving. And I actually I wrote it. I wrote a email to Cobb, and he called me. He actually called.
Really?
He called me.
Wow.
Not like, we'll schedule a call or something like that. He called me directly and to talk about it, and he made some kind of BS about
ESPN.
well, ESPN, but also about how not wanting to go against the high school coaches and playing on Friday nights and stuff. And I'm like,
We don't recruit there anyway. Does it matter?
We don't compete with high school. Holy shit.
that was that was Miles' era though, wasn't it? That was a Miles game, wasn't it? I could be wrong. I don't remember.
Yeah, but to be like, we went head to head with high school scheduling, and high school scheduling won. What?
Yes, it's not.
The
is
NFL
not-
wants to play on Saturday. They do it.
They pretty much wait for.
It's usually after. Yeah.
They try to be respectful. Yeah.
It's
They
usually
wait-
after. It's usually after the season.
So
They wait for the shitty bowl games to start.
That's
Like, oh, yeah,
right.
we'll probably put Arizona against Carolina on a Saturday. No one's watching it anyways. So.
Yeah, the whatever brand we've never heard of that is in Louisiana or something.
Exactly.
yeah.
Bowl.
So are we both
No, you-
tempted to take Thursday and Friday off from our jobs?
I already have that Thursday and Friday off for the Rhode Island game because tailgating and then Dragon Con.
Sure.
Kids will be in school, can do that. And then but yeah, UConn Saturday game, 7 p.m.
7 a.m. start. I like it.
I'm in. 12 hours of pre-gaming. Yes.
We will be
Yes.
great, just like in previous years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be good. I was looking up. I started subscribing to ChatGPT so I could get the good stuff, and I was looking up all the tailgating foods, like asking it like what foods are, because it's easier to like ask AI than it is to like just search the internet and have to figure out which link you want to.
I
Right.
saw you in our
Ask-
group chats
ask
though, and I'm
people.
down for like all the ideas you came up with, except for the I think there was one that didn't sound very good.
Seafood pizzas. I'm kind of like
No. The clams with white
I don't
pizza
know.
sounds. I almost cussed. Sounds delicious. The clam
I think
pizza sounds so good.
And I think that was UConn. That was a Connecticut thing.
It is
Yeah,
UConn,
yeah.
I was listed up. Yeah. But the one thing that stood out to me was the steamed cheeseburgers in Connecticut. And I have been doing a lot of research on the YouTube about steamed cheeseburgers. And I'm very, very close to buying in a very, very expensive steamer, knowing that I have a Dutch oven with a steaming rack that I could actually do this myself. But I'm
Don't
doing
do it.
But-
we're gonna do some steamed cheeseburgers at the tailgate for Connecticut. Yes.
All right.
Yes,
like
I'm very
it.
excited.
I watched the whole
I like it.
program on the first restaurant that made the steamed cheeseburgers, and it's tiny. Yeah.
We've watched the same videos. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sure of it. I'm
Yes,
sure of
yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
So that made you
Uh,
want to buy one, like a whole.
Well, I've looked it up, but you can buy the little inserts
Uh-huh.
they have to it. You can buy those separately. They're expensive, like $28 for 3. But
Ooh.
yeah, I'm gonna do that and then just like use my regular steaming thing because like why I want to do it is those little rectangle things they have. They load that thing up with cheese and they just pour like the other videos that I watched. They just put a slice of cheese on a burger in a steaming rack, and I'm like,
Mhm.
no. Once I saw that, just like
that one
3
video.
that 3 or 4 ounces of just melted cheese they pour on a burger. I'm like, that's what we're doing.
It's amazing. Yeah. I
And
can't
All right,
gonna
I'm
do
in.
it. Yeah,
Talk me
See,
into it.
now you're into it. Now you're into it.
I'll have a microwaved burger. I'm in.
That's not microwave. But,
It's exactly microwaved. Microwave just steams.
All right, I'm not getting into that right
Literally
now.
the science.
I thought it. Never mind. All right.
Football schedule.
My big disappointment on the game times being announced was the Charlotte game being announced as a night game because that's the one that I wanted to do. I've had on the calendar for years as being another bus trip like we did to Auburn.
Which
Yeah.
was also a night game.
Auburn was not a night game; it was an afternoon game.
What
It
are
was
you
like
talking about? We were getting home at like 3 a.m. We stopped at Waffle House.
Yeah, but it wasn't a night game. It was like a 4 o'clock kick or something. This is
No.
a 6 p.m. kick. Also, Auburn Drive is like 2 hours, and the Charlotte Drive is 4 hours.
Yeah, I was gonna say no, but it was definitely like in the AM when we were getting back. Not
Oh, no, it was late when we got back, but it was a shorter drive. We got there early. We had time to meander and do our thing. This is one of the because I only have 15 hours on the bus driver. So if we do the same kind of bus trip, basically we have time
Brutal.
to get to the game. 4 hours of game time, give an hour for people to get back on the bus because you got no idea what's going to happen there, and then 4 hours back, you're really pressing it for time. It's like that's a return trip of 3 a.m. conservatively. So
I mean, I'm down. Are you down?
I'm down. I don't know if I can sell a busload of tickets to do it.
Yeah.
You think
Other than Charlotte, I was looking at the schedule. There's nothing else that you could really do a bus trip to.
No. This was
Nothing.
the one. This was the one trip. I looked at the entire season after we did that Auburn game to find out which one would be the best, for each season to do, and this was the one for this season. But thank you to Coach Jonas Hayes for putting together a couple of good out of conference travel games. We're playing at Mercer. Short drive, very short drive to Macon.
Easy. Yeah.
We could do a party bus for that. We can make that an all-day affair.
We can all yell at the refs and get kicked out.
And that's a Saturday game. And that's a Saturday game. So that's an easy one. We could get a bunch of people together. There's also a Belmont game in Nashville. I did not know Belmont was in Nashville. Another 4-hour drive, but it's a Monday
drive.
It's a Monday night, so that'd be another kind of get back late type deal. But that Mercer game would be a good Saturday.
So cheers for Belmont, but can't do Charlotte.
Yeah, I forgot about that when I started talking about it. So
like, let's just be clear here.
I refuted my. Well, also it's only like an hour and a half, 2-hour game time versus a 4-hour game time.
Look, as long as we can park the bus in a Waffle House parking lot somewhere, I do not give a shit what time it is.
Also, the Mercer game is on my birthday, so if you don't go, then you guys are not my friends.
That's where your birthday is going to be, Mercer.
Macon.
It's always questionable if we're being real.
It's true. I think about it all the time. I question myself why anybody is friends with me. I would not be friends with me.
So I went to that Mercer game. It was fun. It was especially fun to see the cheerleader get ejected. That was that was a highlight of Georgia State basketball.
Coach Hunter had so many great moments in his career here. His short career.
Telling the fans to shut up.
Remember that one? But definitely a good moment.
No, it happened. It happened. He was kicked out of that game too, wasn't he?
I think that's true.
Yeah,
because he got pissed off at the refs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a long time Atlanta Braves fan through the Bobby Cox years.
Yeah.
I love it when a coach gets kicked out. Like I get it, like it's problematic for whatever reason or another, but like it's amazing. It's great. It's a great show,
Yeah, of course. And I have to say that I'm sure I've said this on the podcast before, but you bring it up and I have to say it again. It's one of those kind of stories you just got to repeat. I was watching an interview with Glavin or Smoltz, and they were talking about Bobby Cox and how like fiery he was about getting kicked out. And so they were not pitching one night. They're in like the quarters outside of the dugout underneath the TED, Center Park Stadium. And they were just talking about how good the ump had been about calling. Like, yeah, he's calling his pitches fantastic. And Bobby Cox comes down there to get some coffee or something, and he's like, "How's it going out there, guys?" And they just go, "That ump's all over the place. He's missing things left and right. He's not.
Just amping him
doesn't
up.
have
Go get
Love
him,
it.
Bobby."
Bobby Cox was there, and like literally the next batter, Bobby Cox gets kicked out of the game for arguing the calls.
That's hilarious. I love it.
And they were just busting up laughing the entire time.
great.
Anyhow, things that happen inside of our football stadium. All right, Ryan, you sent this one over. We got some Vegas win totals on football this season.
Weren't there other?
What did I
games?
send you? I don't remember
Wait.
sending you anything.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
sorry.
what you're talking about.
There was one more night game. One more night game.
What is it?
Trash down south on a Thursday.
Yeah. I mean, well, Thursday it has to be, right? Well,
There
it
though, right?
It
There.
doesn't have to be.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. I will be in Miami for that game, so I'll need. Thankfully, it's on ESPN too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The
our
Deuce.
coastal game. our Coastal game is on ESPN. And
Yeah,
then
there was some pretty good programming for us.
I mean, yes, the Coastal
I
game's also another Thursday game, and we have a short week again after having coming back from Charlotte. But yeah,
I mean, that's probably Coastal's fault. If we're being real, like, let's just be super honest. Coastal is getting a little bit of clout. That's okay. TDS, though, I mean, the rest of the world understands that it's a garbage team and a garbage stadium, and like the TV's not going to be good. And we brought them, you know?
yeah. Well, I do think also the FCC has a rule about going back to Coastal. FCC has a rule about how many times they can have that ugly of a color on the screen, and so they had to move it to a Thursday versus putting it on a Saturday. Too many Saturdays with that ugly teal color. Go ahead, Ryan or Tim. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say I think potentially maybe the conference or Southern or both. They're just trying to make it like Georgia, Florida. It's Georgia State, Georgia Southern that same week. I don't know.
It's the same weekend. It's the same weekend. Like literally, if you have like, all the Georgia State fans that are actually Georgia State alums that are UGA fans, as they make their way down to Jacksonville, they can just stop off in Statesboro, watch that game, watch Georgia State win,
take a dump in their stands, right?
Exactly, and then make their own way down to Jacksonville. Oh, look at that heartfelt moment with the kiddo there, Ryan.
Or, and hear me out, they could just drive right past Statesboro, hang out in Savannah for the night, and
watch it on
have
TV.
A really good time, drinking, eating good food, and then go down to Jacksonville and not have to be in Statesboro ever.
Sure,
and don't forget
that is an option.
And don't forget, while on going down the bars on River Street, stop into a couple places on watching ESPN2 and see Georgia State get another victory.
That's right. Go watch
South.
it at a bar out on River Street and just be done with it. You know,
I will be that guy in Miami. Like, I'm so glad it's on
ESPN2.
I'm glad it's on ESPN2. Like, it'll just be on. You know, like
you won't have to ask for it. It'll just be there. Like, go to a Taco
look,
Mac and it's going to be on.
I feel so weird that I have a Georgia State hat and T-shirt on right now while I'm in Miami, and it so happens my team is playing right now. So, yeah. All right. Yes. That. How do you guys feel about the first 4 games of the season being night games?
I'm all for it.
I like night games.
I love night games.
It makes sense also being in Georgia. Well, I guess, these games aren't on Georgia, but, the Carolinas, it's hot during the day.
Yeah.
Hot in the stadium.
We'll be out there, but it's hot during the day. Exactly.
We got tents. We got coverage, right?
And we're mezzanine, so for the home games, we're going to be under the shade. We're good.
We got to get a suite for one game. Just one game. Let's go in and get a suite.
Did they do that?
Yeah, you can buy a suite for a game.
Not before the season starts, but like leading up to the game. Like if
they realize nobody's going to buy it.
Exactly. Get a suite for one game.
I think they just make them available, don't they? Just if they have empty suites, they'll sell them for the game.
Once after the season has started.
After it starts, yeah.
Right, yeah, because they're trying to sell them out to everybody beforehand. We got to get a good suite.
JMU, Marshall, Troy.
That is like one of our Patreon perks. Maybe I don't know. I'm spitballing here. No Patreon members should like hear this and be like, "This is gonna happen," because I just literally said it out loud for the first time right now. I'm just
Patreon members, you've heard it here first. Ryan is paying for a suite for all of us for the entire season.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Much praise.
F you guys.
Oh, I complained about the bus already. I complained about the bus. We'll see. Maybe we'll do it. All right. Are we done on the night games, Tim?
We're done on night games, yeah.
All right. Vegas win totals. Ryan, you sent this across. Vegas came out and said we're winning 5.5 games.
5.5 games, yeah. And I'm unfortunately on the under. And I went in and actually like did the math on it, and I've got 6 wins. I've got 6.
All right. That's over. That's over by math speak.
But one of my wins is Coastal, and only on the grounds that we win at their house.
Right.
And I think this year we might not do it.
They got a new coach.
The first year the home team wins.
If I were actually going through this and not figuring that kind of thing out, I would say we would lose that game, and I would be on the 5 wins. That's where I would be at. but because it's at their house and that's like something we've done. But I don't necessarily buy into that stuff. So I'm still taking the under. I might be wrong about something else, but I'm going to take the under at 5 wins.
Tim, what say you?
I'm gonna go under. I see 4.
Ooh,
4. Ooh.
4.5. 4.5. There we
4.5. That's not real.
Well,
You
yeah,
can't do that. They do
I
that.
think
You
it's
can't
Vegas.
do that.
Vegas can do that. You
We
can't
could
do
get,
that.
we could get to 5, but it's gonna be
I'm
a
at
tough
5.
schedule. It's gonna be a tough schedule.
The off season has that was a weird pronunciation of off season. The off season has hit me hard, and I'm in that super
9?
optimistic. I'm in that optimistic mode. I'm not saying a number, but I am saying I'm taking the
What are you,
over on
Ben?
this. I'm feeling over on this, and my game that I think is going to be a win, Ryan, is Lafayette.
Ooh, our first win.
Yeah,
right?
they're without that Napier dude. Napier, right? That's what.
Whoever.
That's his
Yeah,
name.
sure.
They have been tumbling down the hill since he left. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, I mean, I'm fairly certain we're playing down there again, right?
It's
That-
out of
that-
Louisiana.
That game's at Lafayette, yeah. So, but that's the one that I think is. So you're assuming Rhode Island, Yukon, and Charlotte. We assume those wins.
Well,
Trash Down South is a guaranteed.
yeah, I got
win.
Rhode Island, Yukon, Clit, Trash Down South, and ODU.
I actually put it at CLT on there as well. Look at
Well,
that.
I put the I in.
Well,
They actually pronounce it clit, don't they?
Old Dominion. Old Dominion is another win.
I put ODU
Oh,
as
yeah,
a win.
yeah.
So
Old
those are my
Dominion's a
5
win.
wins: Rhode Island, Yukon, Clit, TDS, and ODU.
Yeah,
That's
I
kinda
got.
where I'm at. We could steal one though.
Yeah,
I think we could lose one of those.
We could lose one of those and steal a different one.
I mean, UConn is very much a coin flip. Like that's a game where I feel like we're supposed to win it, but
but they're on the up though.
we're supposed to win against Rhode Island. But like, there's a whole different underdog dynasty article that was written this past week about maybe it's 2 weeks ago about how like this is their this is their time to rise into playoff contention. They haven't played in the playoffs in like forever. And then there's another underdog article about listing the most likely upsets: FCS over FBS and Rhode Island over Georgia State. Which that article looked very, very flimsily written. They
Well,
basically
the article was written in such a way that they didn't even believe it would be an upset.
It might have been written by ChatGPT.
I mean,
right? Let's be honest.
well, all they said was Rhode Island has been close to the playoffs for the past couple of years. Georgia State has a 4-8 coming off a 4-8 season. Didn't really reload. It's like the shrugging emoji. Like I don't know.
nah, but the tone of it was very much like we don't really even expect Georgia State to win, which is not an upset. That's not what that means. Like you guys think we suck. That's fine. That's not an upset.
Obviously written by a Georgia State alum.
Yeah, or TDS alum, which we know happens
A lot.
the underdog. Whatever.
They do have some TDS people in there. Didn't I have like a hatred towards them at the beginning of this whole thing? I hated those guys for a long time.
I mean, if they have to hang out with TDS people, the people who work at Underdog have to hang out with TDS people in any form or fashion, I can understand why they might start hating him.
I think instead of Strom Dog, Tim, Strom Doll, but like DOLL, like make him out to be like a sexy Ken doll.
What did-
Strom Doll.
Where are we going?
How did we get there?
How
How
did we
did
go
you get
backwards?
there?
You said
We're done with
you,
that topic.
you said Underdog Dynasty, and I thought dog.
No, you
and
said Underdog Dynasty.
but when I said I didn't think this,
I'm
and
drunk, man.
Strom doll.
and then it reminded me of Tim calling Strom Dog, and I took issue with that when he said it, but I had nothing to respond with it now, and now I'm thinking Strom Doll, DOLL,
That
and
just
like make it
supports it though.
like he's like a sexy dude. He's the Strom Doll. Like,
He's not a doll.
yeah.
He's a dog.
he's
But dog, no, that's negative when you say it like that.
So
Exactly.
he's a Ken doll, is what you're saying.
He's the Strom Doll. You know.
Don't let the baseball team know this. They might start using that.
take them all out to the new Barbie movie coming out. You know? I saw something that said that they used so much pink paint for the Barbie movie that the prices started going up on pink paint because there was like
Shortage.
a shortage of pink paint.
That's hilarious. Strong doll.
That's neither here nor there. All right, what do we got? Yeah, so that Rhode Island game, who knows? They hate us. The internet hates us.
Pretty much.
I mean, we hate us a little bit.
No, I don't hate Georgia State at
hate
all.
us.
I hate me for being a
We're-
fan of Georgia State.
We're like self-deprecating, is what I mean. You know, we're like,
Self-loathing.
yes.
If I could go back in time and talk to like, well, I guess not senior year of high school me, but like freshman year of college me, because I transferred in after my freshman year, be like, dude, you don't want to know the pain you're going to go through by going to Georgia State. It won't be soon. It's gonna be a long time. You're gonna go through so much pain.
It's gonna be fine for a long while, and then
you're
it's gonna
not
get rough.
You're not gonna care about Georgia State for so many years, and then when you do, disappointment after disappointment, and the Falcons lose the Super Bowl, and disappointment. And
Ooh, that
disappointment.
hurt. That one hurt.
It's got
That still-
expanded.
That still hurts, man. Stop talking about that. Come on.
And the Braves win the World Series, and disappointment
feels
and disappointment. And there'll be a soccer team that you don't care about. Like, yeah, that'd be the one thing that younger me would have been like, oh yeah, this guy's probably telling the truth. I probably won't care about a soccer team. That sounds like me. There was a the Fun Belt, I don't know, Fun Belt Sports, I don't know, whatever this Twitter account is. They talked about the strength of schedule for all the Sun Belt schools out of conference, strength of schedule, and kind of ranked us as bottom half on the strength of schedule for out of conference.
I'm all for a good visual that has no numbers. Just keep
kind
you
of
wondering.
fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah. I don't disagree with it where they put us at.
Ninth hardest strength of schedule.
We don't have I mean, other than LSU, right?
Well,
I went through that and I was like, it's probably legit. Feels good.
Well, I mean,
Feels good,
only-
man.
we have our money game that you're supposed to lose, and
Sure.
then 3 out of conference games that we said earlier that we expect to win. We think we should win. So, yeah. I mean,
Well, like the way I looked at it was like, who ahead of us has a tougher schedule? And I couldn't find that person, that team. So I was just like, this is fine.
well, when you look at it, do you look at how tough the opponent is, or how tough the opponent is versus the team that they're playing? Like, so you've got, I'm just looking at Appy State, and they've got UNC, ECU, I think that's Wyoming.
It's Wyoming, yeah.
So like, but App State's typically pretty good. They've beaten UNC recently. ECU we've beaten, so they're not that good. So, but App State's listed as a harder schedule than us. But App State is better.
Only looking at opponents.
Yeah.
Only opponents, because that is what defines like a tough schedule, right? It's not like comparatively.
Right.
Otherwise, you know, I mean, like that's the way you have to look at it. And I definitely said North Carolina and ECU are harder than LSU and UConn. I think those are our 2 toughest games.
Yeah, UConn, LSU, obviously, and then UConn.
I mean, LSU, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd put Rhode Island over Charlotte only because we underperformed so heavily against FCS teams.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll beat the team we shouldn't beat, and we'll lose the team we shouldn't lose to.
That also should not be taken into account in hardest schedules. But you're not wrong.
No, but looking at Southern Miss, they ranked them as the hardest. Florida State, Mississippi State, Tulane, and they've got FCS Alcorn.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, that was kind of like us last year with UNC and USC or Southern, or what's it called? South Carolina.
South Carolina. Yeah, USC in the South.
The Cox. Yeah, that's a rough schedule.
That is.
But
it's tough. And then ULM with Ole Miss and Texas A&M and Army, I think.
And that's another one where you look at the team that's actually playing those teams too. Yet it's not just a Sun Belt school playing Ole Miss, A&M, and Army.
Right.
It's Monroe playing Ole Miss, A&M, and Army. Like that's
God, they're gonna get steamrolled.
There's some rough matchups. I mean, you look at the next one. The next one is Marshall with Virginia Tech, NC State, and ECU.
Yeah.
And the next one is Old Dominion with Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, and Liberty. And as much as I hate Liberty, I think that's Liberty. They're freaking good. Like you can't deny it. That's gonna be a tough game for them.
You can deny it, but
I see Marshall being favored in one of those, at least one of those games, and Old Dominion not. No.
what the
No.
hell is the other team Marshall has?
It's got to be some FCS team. It's a
I don't know,
weird
yeah.
lion profile.
The Danes?
Saber-tooth.
That looks like a dog.
You think it's a dog? Looks like a lion to me.
Oh, it's a dog. It's like a Doberman or something.
Yeah.
Are we looking at the same graphic?
For
Yeah.
Marshall?
Oh, Marshall. I thought you said Old Dominion.
Oh yeah,
No,
Old
no,
Dominion is
for-
definitely a lion.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
lion.
whoever that is.
I was
Yeah,
saying
no,
for
that-
Marshall, the one above it. What the hell?
Yeah,
is
that's
that school.
That's the West Ham Greyhounds.
Oh, he knew. All right.
Yes,
I like that.
Ryan.
Yes.
Well, I
right.
just think, David, I feel like you know stuff, and like you just say it with such confidence.
No, that was the soccer team from
Yeah,
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
So,
We're gonna go across the pond. They have an international match.
They have connections with Kansas. All right. Anyhow. All right. Basketball stuff. Something I did want to talk about last week that obviously we didn't because of having Dave on there, which is totally okay. The Sun Belt is trying to up the net rankings for all the Sun Belt schools and enforcing some scheduling guidelines like fines or other things for not adhering to the guidelines. And what they want to do is they want to have at least 7 D1 out of conference home opponents, home games to improve the net rankings, which I'm
so
all
we're gonna
for.
stop doing these like NAI whatever people.
Carver Bible College.
Whatever
you-
school like has like 10 students that wants to schedule us or whatever it was. That happened last year, right? That
Yeah,
there's a
wait.
school that has like a football team and that's it. I mean, a basketball team and that's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So you said they want to find schools that don't do this?
Adhere. Yeah. so
Wait. They
fine-
want to find the schools that already have low budgets, money that they don't have for not doing
Well-
something.
Well, then they better freaking schedule right. All right.
Are they
gonna
That's what they're
Wait,
saying.
Are they going to redistribute the funds to the other schools?
I would assume that's what happens. I don't know, but
I'm all for it. All for it.
but yeah, like I guess that's their way of kicking Monroe out. Is like, nope, guys,
can't afford this.
you can't afford to play your football, your baseball, or basketball. schedule.
Basketball.
But so like, they're like fines of like $50,000. I don't know if that's
Wow.
$50,000 of like 50 grand. I don't know if that's 50 grand per each non D1 opponent that comes in there, or if it's just you didn't adhere to the schedule, or making a team ineligible for the NCAA money that comes
Mhm.
through for the team that makes the tournament. Like
Ooh,
the school got
that's a lot of money.
the conference got $2 million for Lafayette making it to the tournament, which I mean, a team makes the tournament every single year
That's
because of the auto bid. So you're talking about $2 million a year.
And this strategy is a strategy to get more than one person in. More than one
That's
team
what they're
in.
trying to do. That's what they're
Exactly.
trying to do. And then the other one that I thought was actually really interesting was if you do not have at least 7 home D1 out of conference opponent games,
Mhm.
excluded from the Sun Belt Conference tournament, not even allowed to be a member of it.
Wow, that's heavy.
I love it.
They're going
I'm
for the
in.
balls,
Like
man.
my hot take here is yes, please. This is great news.
They're like,
this is-
you better spend the money or you're going to be spending it elsewhere.
Well, this is one time that I think Georgia State being in the Sun Belt is at an advantage because as far as travel costs go, getting to Atlanta is the easiest place for any D1 program to get to. One
Absolutely.
of the easiest places to get to. Whereas getting to a Monroe or getting to a Boone or getting to a Hattiesburg, Southern Mississippi, not as easy as hopping on a flight to Atlanta. And how many D1 programs are within bus distance of Georgia State? You know,
We got plenty of D1 programs in bus distance, so we should be fine.
so that's if I was Charlie Cobb, that's the one I'd be pushing. Like, I don't want to see money fines. I want to see the exclusions from tournament playouts or whatever.
They
So-
should give money for the teams that excel and play more. upper
Exactly.
teams.
Well, so Marshall apparently was the only team last year to have to actually have 7 home D1 games. They were the
they were
only
the
one to do
only
it.
ones who actually would have qualified for our tournament.
They would have gotten
Right.
$2 million.
Well, that
Right?
gets there.
They would have been a 1 seed against 0 teams in the conference tournament.
That's
They would have
hilarious.
gotten $2 million, and they would have collected all the $50,000 fines from the other 13 schools.
You know what?
Talk
To me,
about a
though, that's
moneymaker.
even better. It wasn't just like virtue signaling bullshit. It was like, look, nobody would have qualified under these rules last year. One team, right? And we're still gonna set that. That's where the bar is right now. No one
Right.
would have cleared the bar last year except for Marshall. Whatever. I'm gonna keep saying that because it's technically true, but who cares?
So this is obviously, this number came from I'm assuming came from the Marshall AD. He looked at what Marshall did and said, "All right, none of you guys did this."
We set the bar. Yeah,
Arbitrary.
No, I'm with it. Good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
How close were we to the bar?
I don't know.
Not very.
We had several because we had that MTE at home. I don't know if those things count as home games. They should count as home games, right? Because all those teams were D1 opponents, right?
Yeah. They are.
So that's three right there, right? And then I don't know.
7.
We had a lot of
Pretty
more home,
close.
we had a lot of home games last year, more than we normally do.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's true.
because we
We had
really
that tournament.
That's exactly okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I stole your thunder. Calm down.
We talked about that before. It's like, we were just home for the longest time.
We just laid up on the couch. just
Yeah,
chilled.
and we had Tech.
We had Tech come in. How should have beat them? Ooh.
We should have.
Oh.
Well, the one thing one note I had about this was, when the conference comes through and just imposes these kind of like rules, whether you find them arbitrary or not, it sounds like none of us find them arbitrary. I do like where they kind of created that MAC challenge. They're helping teams. They're saying, all right, we've scheduled a conference tournament, not tournament, but a challenge with another D1 conference, giving everybody, not everybody, they only have like 10 teams, so only
10.
Maybe it's 12. Well, either way, I know there's teams left out. There's teams that are left out. But that's a chance to give everybody another D1.
They're forcing everyone to get another D1 opponent.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I like the fact that we added the challenge. I think it's great for the conference. It's not a conference that, we would join for some kind of challenge that we'd lose all the games. I think they're winnable games. So I like that they made that happen. Shows some leadership from the what's his name?
Yeah,
I don't know his name, but
Keith Gill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the MAC challenge. I would like to see us do more conference challenges if we could get that. And MAC's a good one to have. You got a lot of I don't know, weird D1 not P5, but D1 mid-major programs out of there. Buffalo's the only team I really want to play though, but that's for selfish reasons. And like all of the mission schools that are not green and blue.
Oh, blue ones are fine in Michigan. Green ones are garbage.
Not a fan of the Trojans.
Nope.
Michigan State Trojans, right? Yeah.
Nah, when you're a Georgia fan, Michigan State won a couple of bowl games and stopped us from being in championships and stuff, and it was bad. But also, go blue.
I also feel like Michigan fans are very, very arrogant about their history. Like they were so good a long time ago, and now they can't even beat Michigan State.
Michigan's been. What do you mean, Michigan? They're great. They've been great. They were great last year.
They're mediocre.
What?
They're mediocre for what their history says they are.
All right, that's fine. But also, the Big House is someplace on my bucket list, right? That's like one of the facilities that's there that I want.
Hallowed ground. It's definitely hallowed ground.
That's like an irrelevant conversation to say. Like they're good.
I don't even know where Michigan State plays.
And Michigan State Stadium.
No, I assure you that's not right.
No, say they're good because I want to go to their stadium. That's like saying, well, hell, with the Tennessee
my grandpa
Stadium
also received his undergrad from there.
Okay.
Tennessee holds like so many people in there, and it's really the story thing. And we all went to Tennessee, and that place is a shithole. It's a horrible, horrible stadium that at any point you feel like you may actually just die when it crumbles underneath your feet.
Jeez.
It's
The
I mean,
stadium is
good.
garbage for real. You're not
It's
wrong.
really, it's so bad.
It was
It's
real
so
bad. And the puke orange doesn't
And
help.
the bathroom, the urine like smell
Troughs.
that just is everywhere. Oh, it's the worst.
I agree. All right.
That wind was so freaking hot that day. It
You're,
smelled
you're
so
talking about
bad.
you're talking about 2019. You're talking about the win. The,
I'm talking about the wind. It was
yeah, I
so
didn't-
hot that day.
I wasn't at
Oh
that
my
one.
God.
Oh, I was in the very, very comfortable covered halfway Crooks Brewery watching that game with man, that's probably the best watch party we ever had was that Tennessee game. Like we had a
We
good
never had
turnout.
one there again, did we?
You know, we watched some games that season and people got turned away because they wanted wine and liquor and everything. But like that was a watch party where we had some great watch parties at other places. But that one, like we were watching it and then like people downstairs like kept on hearing us cheering and hooting and hollering.
They
And
come
just-
up.
And they started, and like there were people that came up like, "Hey, we went to Georgia State. We had no idea we were playing Tennessee right now," and they just started like they sat there and they watched the game. Like we actually like acquired people. Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
awesome. Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun.
Nice hat, Ryan. Yeah.
Thanks.
You look good in that.
Izzy requested that I wear it the during the podcast, and I said yes, and then she got on to me for not wearing it. But it's the one
It's
that
fair.
was a sponsor of our spring game. I believe I got this hat there.
Oh, the
Oh yeah.
the
It's like a San
Cutwater
Diego brewery.
Cutwater
Water Spirits.
Cutwater. The yeah.
Not a
Boozy Waters, right?
sponsor. Not a sponsor.
yet. Not a sponsor yet. Not a sponsor yet. So
But here
That-
we go.
that's all I think I have, guys.
We're 51 minutes in,
Yeah,
so
we can-
it's probably enough.
I'm ready to
Oh,
start cursing, so let's go.
Actually, I have one more thing, but we can totally hold that over to last call. So yeah.
Hold it.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We're gonna go over to last call and drink some more, curse some, and talk about the episode. These guys are gonna give you an episode title. And
I can stop saying F, and so instead I can actually say the word.
Coxcomb. Yeah, you can say it.
You can find on our Patreon page, free of charge, patreon.com/State of Atlanta. If you are a Patreon member, you'll get it immediately. If you are not, it'll release on Friday, but please consider joining. You get access to our private group chat and other stuff as well, discounts and merchandise, all that kind of stuff. So patreon.com/State of Atlanta. Thanks everybody for listening. We really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Peace.